All right, back home for the first time as an Olympic champion. I know we talked about it a little bit in there, but what's the feeling going to be like out there just when you step on that track for the very first time?
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, I mean, can't wait to get out actually on the track, but just being back in Eugene and every time you visit your old stomping grounds, you can kind of reflect on what you've been like in years prior in the same location. I feel like that kind of fits how I'm feeling. I came in here as a freshman with very lofty goals for my career, and now just to look back on that and see, pretty much did everything I said I was going to do, and I just want to keep on proving to myself that I can just keep on excelling. So, it's always an honor to get out on the track.
Do you think back to 2021 when you won that, Olympic trial and, just the growth that you've had these last 3-4 years and just like how it's all happened so fast?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that 2021 season was just such a blur, and, there's an advantage to being so naive in the sport to a certain extent. And I feel like I took full advantage of that. I was just like, I'm just gonna race, and I don't care who I'm racing. I think I can win, and I did that all the way up until the Olympic final. And then it was that following season where I realized, now I'm at this next level. Now I'm not guaranteed all this success to continue. I have to recalibrate and work on it again. And I went through a tough season that next year, and work towards 2024, where then I feel like I proved to the world how good I am and how good I can be. And I just feel like that was just the start of it, really, just scratching the surface of that. So yeah, I'm really proud of how I've developed so far.
There's been a lot of talk about just how stacked the entire field is for this event, yourself included. Does that add any type of sentimental value to this specific pre-classic?
Yeah, I think sentimental value, I don't know, that's maybe not that, but more of just I always race best when I'm surrounded by good people, good competition, and it's easy to get excited when you're racing the best in the world, and that's exactly what we're doing tomorrow. So always makes it feel like a bigger deal, or like the appropriate amount of pressure and stress and nerves. It's always good to race the best in the world.
You speaking on sentimental, Coach Dellinger just passed away. Just kind of speak on what that interaction was like, what you had with him when he was around, and just what he's meant to you, what he's meant to the program. I mean, of course, he's accomplished so much when he was the coach, but I mean, what did he mean to you as a person?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I came around to Oregon pretty late in his life, but I did have the opportunity, thanks to a couple people like Pat Tyson and Johnny Truax, that kind of bridged the gap and let me meet him, go to his house on his birthday and go out to eat with him. And every time I did that, it was like that clear bridge between now and everything that I looked up to and really idolized growing up. He was that connection to everything that I wanted to be. And so yeah, it was tough to hear about his passing, but the legacy that he left is pretty remarkable, and everyone that you talk to around here, they've all had a positive interaction with him. And in my eyes, he's like a founding father of the true Oregon track program, and how it became what it was, and why when I was growing up it was the first school I knew about, and Prefontaine was the first athlete I knew about. I think he had his way in making all that the reality.
Hi Cole, a couple of words on Prefontaine. So it's the 50th anniversary. You've been a Duck here. How important was Prefontaine legacy for your career here, and how did you feel is the impact still today on you guys athletes?
Yeah, it's always been like the race in my mind. Like, this is like the best race in America, I think, outside of the championships. This is our only Diamond League, so this is a big one. Like, growing up, I watched this one all the time, and then I got to Oregon, and I was like, I feel closer to it, but it's still really tough to get into. And then finally felt like I got my shot in it after 2021 season, and now this is, I think, the fourth time, and each one I felt like I've belonged more and more. And now, of course, I'm here to win, and only to win and run fast. And it's like, now I'm at the point in my career where I think these races aren't just like shot in the dark, let's see what we can do. Like, I have an expectation, and I have a accountability on my end to race well, and that's like a great honor, and to do it at what my home track is really cool.
And
Okay.
I meant also Steve Prefontaine legacy, the impact he has today on your career. I don't know if you read the new book just got out this year.
I don't think I read it, but no.
So what was Steve's impact on you?
Yeah, like I was saying, first track athlete I knew of. Probably the reason I started growing out my hair is he had the flow, and I thought it was just the coolest thing ever. And then my dad just put me on all the movies, and I just had like a real like draw to the Pacific Northwest really after seeing that, and I felt like this is where you go to become a world-renowned track athlete. And as soon as I stepped on the campus, I felt like I was surrounded by everything I dreamed of, and then it was just like, now I gotta do my part and hopefully taking up that role, and just trying to emulate all the greats that have come before me. And obviously that pretty much starts with Pre.